I'd like to speak about the differences between awakening and enlightenment, at least how I understand and use these terms. So awakening is usually a stage of your life where, for whatever reason, you begin to be acquainted and understanding, perhaps in a more tangible, so to speak, or in a more up close and personal way, the spiritual and metaphysical nature of all reality. And it might happen once in one awakening stage, or it could happen by stages where you gradually awaken over multiple events or situations. But overall, you usually have an initial trigger. This trigger could be a word, could be a name, could be an idea, could be you seeing a movie, could be you being offered a book. In any case, this trigger will then signal your spiritual self to open you up to new ideas, to new concepts, to that new reality, and you start seeking and soaking up a range of information which is usually heavily contested by the mental barriers you have prior to awakening. So this type of information could go anywhere from the topics of densities, dimensions, metaphysics, consciousness, extraterrestrial life, healing and holistic modalities and practices, and any of these things in such a way that is not to say that everything you're going to listen needs to be taken as 100% correct regardless of the source, but that your mind has loosened up enough so that this information can come in without you rejecting it up front, and instead you're going to use and train your inner spiritual discernment to take in and process these new types of informations and sources, so where you're going to start forming a model of understanding regarding these things. So in awakening you're usually excited. It's usually a time of curiosity, of learning or absorbing new information, and it is a stage of the spiritual journey, or at least of the journey that is explicitly spiritual, that is to say, where you're dealing with subjects and topics that are explicitly, overtly of a spiritual nature. Now, enlightenment, and that is not to say that I am enlightened, only that I can only address what I know and what I've acquired from performing readings to others. I usually prefer to use the term graduation because the word or the term enlightenment is usually charged. So graduation means you have completed the lessons you set out to complete in physical matter, or you are about to complete them, and you're reaching a stage or plateau of your spiritual development, after which you'll be able to choose when, what, and where to go next. So you are free to choose. That is to say, you are not bound by previous karma or unfinished lessons or unfinished business, if you will. The two are different because just because you awaken doesn't mean your karmic attributes suddenly go away. It usually, with awakening, what usually happens is that you go through the initial stage of awakening itself and absorbing information and being excited in learning and acquiring new things. then you will be asked in some way to progress in your spiritual path or in your personal life journey in some way with that knowledge, applying that knowledge or simply having that knowledge in the background. In any case, it does mean that just by awakening, suddenly your journey doesn't end there. At least your journey in physical matter. It means that you will have still typically lessons to learn and a path to take. In that regard, so awakening is, so to speak, the beginning of a journey, and enlightenment is its end.